All right, guys, for this lesson we're going to be doing, we're going to be creating a butterfly. We're going to start in pencil first, and then we'll end with Sharpie. You could use a black marker, a black crayon, whatever you have at your house, a black pen. We're going to go back and add the details. So we're going to start with our sketch first. Our paper should be horizontal, so the longer sides should be on the top and bottom of your paper, and the shorter sides on each side. We're going to start in the middle of our paper. So you want to find the middle across this way, which is about here, and come down pretty much to the middle of your paper. We're going to start with this little like rainbow line. It's going to come in, not too much. It's going to go out in a bigger curve. We're going to add two little points on the end, kind of almost look like tails, but it's like you're drawing a mountaintop in the center. And then we're going to draw bottom part. Make sure you're working lightly with your pencil so that you can go back and erase if you need to. You're going to go ahead and draw this little like football shape. I'm going to extend this where it's a little bit longer. We want to be able to go back and add a little line across. We're going to add two eyes to the side. Try to make them similar. Off the top, you're going to do, it comes up a little bit. This is an antenna, so it just kind of comes up and curves and then goes up. Same thing over here, kind of curves and comes up. They don't have to be exactly the same, but similar. And then we're going to have two little arms come out and curve up. Should also be similar. They don't have to be exactly the same. Now we're going to add the wings. So we're going to go down to kind of the middle part of this body. We're going to do all of our wing lines first. So they're all coming out of this midsection. So you're going to go down like this, straight out, and then up. We're going to go ahead and do that on both sides. Make sure they match, so if you drew all the way through, those lines would line up. Butterflies are symmetrical, which means they're the same on both sides, so we're going to try to do that as closely as possible for the wings and the pattern on the wings. So we're going to take this first line and you're going to curve towards the corner of your paper, so you kind of come straight up at a diagonal and then curve over. When you're almost at the edge of your paper, you're going to curve and start coming down in a diagonal line. And then this line you're going to bring straight out and curve up to meet that first top little wing. We're going to do the same thing on this other side. Remember, they're symmetrical, so you want to try to kind of make it match. It can be tricky to do that, but you still want to curve up like you're going towards the corner, making sure to check back on the other side and make sure they're kind of similar. And I'm just kind of measuring to see about how far up down from the edge of my paper this wing is and how far out it is so that I can kind of match this the best that I can. And then I'm gonna start to curve back in. It's gonna be easier for me to draw this line out and curve that back in. And remember, you want these to be similar, so I'm just looking back and looking at each wing and how they could match better. So once you feel good about your two top wings, just try to make them similar. We're gonna go back and add the bottom wings. So we went ahead and drew this line that comes out. We're gonna skip about halfway out this first top wing, and you're going to do a line that's parallel that comes out of this wing, and we're gonna go down kind of in a curve again towards the bottom, and up here you're gonna go out. We're gonna go down with this wing, and this one I'm gonna curve out a little more, so I'm gonna go back and then I'm gonna go back and erase any lines that I don't need. We're gonna do the same thing on this other side. So you're gonna come about halfway out, and remember, you want it to match, so make sure it's the same distance here as it is here. Look at the bottom of your paper, kind of try to figure out and map out where that wing should be turning and curving. I'm working super lightly so that I can go back and erase. You can also use a pencil to measure, so I may start with the point of my pencil and see that it goes to this eye, and then I'm going to move that over here and see that right here is where I should be curving down if I want to be symmetrical and super centered on that side. You can also see that this one on the left looks like it comes down a little more and needs a little more curve right here. So I'm just using my eyes to look back and forth and figure out what is the same, what's different, what I could change. It's looking pretty good. So just use your eyes to help you sketch and make yours as symmetrical as possible. Once you feel comfortable with your wings and that they are pretty symmetrical, we're going to get out our Sharpie in just a second. And we're going to begin outlining and coloring in and adding some details. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to outline the eyes. We're going to color in this whole top section, except for our little football line that we drew in the middle. That's going to stay white. So you want to color in the rest of this solid. I'm going to go ahead with a super light line, so not super thick. Add in my antennas. I'm going to add in my arms with a skinny line you can do, or you could get a skinny Sharpie. I'm going to change this arm a little bit so that it's not right up next to my wing. And then I'll just take my eraser and go back and erase the pencil lines. Outline this. I'm going to add another little section. can start outlining our wings. Make sure you're working slowly so that you do not have to go back and erase a lot. Sometimes it's easy to turn your paper or turn your hand a different way so that you can stay on your line. Outline these wings. And then we're going to go back and erase any pencil lines that we still have showing. So I'm just going to get my eraser and clean this up some. So that we have a clean canvas to start working on the details of our butterfly. We're going to do all the details with Sharpie instead of with pencil. So make sure you're working slowly and carefully because you will not be able to erase. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to start a little ways in from where the wing comes from the body. And you're going to go up and kind of follow the curve of the wing all the way over. We're going to come back to this bottom part and you're going to come up and continue to follow the curve, get thicker towards the end, and then you're going to kind of curve down. So it goes from skinny to thicker. And then we're going to add 2 little mountains into the end of this. And we're going to color this whole part in solid black. Make sure you're going slow and taking your time so that you don't get out of your line. Remember, we also want this to be symmetrical, so we're going to try to recreate this shape on this side. So you're going to start about the same distance, and you're going to follow the curve of your wing, and then dip over. And then same thing, you're going to do skinny, get thicker as you come up. May not be perfect, that's okay. And you're going to draw your 2 little mountains in there, and then we're going to color this in solid. Make sure you are staying in your lines. Working carefully and slowly, getting it as close to symmetrical as you can. Once you have these 2 pieces done, we're going to go in and add some more to this top wing. So underneath this big shape we just did, we're kind of do a stretched out half circle. It's going to kind of follow the shape of the wing though. And you're going to fill this all the way in. Solid black. Same thing on the other side. So you want to try to find kind of the same spot. Kind of measure out how far your half circle comes up. And you're going to kind of follow the same line of the wing on this side. And then you're going to color it in solid. We're going to take some skinny lines onto our wings now. So you're going to start a little closer to the body. And you're just going to kind of curve up. I just have my Sharpie kind of laid sideways, so it's already making that thicker line. And then one's going to come this way between these two. So you're just kind of drawing a bigger V. And then we're going to have one kind of come straight out from this. And then one that comes down. You want to copy the same type of shape on this side. So you're going to start with your Sharpie sideways or whatever material that you have with this V that comes closer to the body. Curves up. After you do the V, you're going to go straight out under your half circle. And then you have one little line that branches off and comes down. We are also going to add two lines that are a little skinnier right above this curve and one little zigzag shape at the top. You're going to do the same thing on the other side, so try to recreate it as best you can. So that they're the same. Mine are a little different, so I'm going to extend this one and this one so they match up. And then I'm going to draw my little zigzag shape. After that, the top wings are almost done. We're going to add one little patchy line like this, so it doesn't have to have perfect little borders. You're just going to lay your Sharpie sideways and color a little splotch on the wing. Once you look at your wings and see that they're pretty symmetrical and most of your stuff is the same, we're going to add some little details, some dots to the wing. So we're going to just take the point of our Sharpie or whatever tool you have, and right near the body there's a lot of little dots, and as they get further away we can spread them out more. So make sure you have a lot towards the body. And we're going to do a lot around our big shape that we started with. And then I'm going to do a few above our half circle and at the bottom of our big shape, just to give it some extra detail. And then I'm adding some more just around the body. So you can see they kind of spread out. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So near the body, you're just doing your little dots. They're concentrated. If there are a lot of dots together, that's called concentrated. So there's concentrated dots all around. And we're going to keep them concentrated as we come up by this shape. And then just like we did on this side, we're going to go up under the shape, but they're going to become more spread out. Try to make them even, so if these go up higher, you have to kind of make it match on both sides. Doesn't have to be perfect, just want it to be similar. So now our top wings are done, and we're going to start to work on the bottom wings together. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to thicken up this outside line. So I want you to start at the edge of this wing, and you're going to come around like this, and then make a little like tail and come back. It's like a J. And then you're going to color this in solid black. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So remember, you want to try to make it match. So you're going to start, follow the shape of your wing, come down, and as you start to turn, you're going to add a little J, a little tail. So this one should be a backwards J. And get it colored in solid. This one comes up a little higher, so I'm just going to add some more to this to make it where it's matching. The next step we're going to do is we're going to come from the body, and you're going to come kind of diagonally out. Make sure this side matches up as best as you can. From here, we're going to add an organic shape. So a geometric shape is a square, a circle, a triangle. An organic shape is something you might see in nature or something that may not be perfect on all sides. So we're going to add an organic shape. You're going to come out from the body again, add an angle, and we're going to come down. And we're just going to make like sort of like a little teardrop. Big stretched out teardrop. And you're going to fill that in solid black. We're going to do the same thing on this side. So out from the body towards the J. You can see how far away from the J that you are. Draw your teardrop. Make sure they match up on both sides. This one's got a little thicker, so I'm going to thicken this side up so it stays very similar. Off of this little teardrop, we're going to add some points. So this point comes out, and you're going to color that in, and then we're going to do one on this side. We're going to do the same thing on this side. Kind of looks like a little ghost. From here, we're going to go a straight line down on both sides. And then we're going to go out from this little point to the side. some lines like this that come out of the little J part we started. And at the bottom, you're going to add a little triangle so it gets thicker to thinner. So you can use the side of your Sharpie and then let the very end be the thinnest part. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So you're going to draw 2 little curved lines, add your little triangle so that they go thick to thin. Once you have this, just how we did the dots at the top, we're going to do some dots around this wing too. So I want you to have some concentrated ones by the body. It comes underneath our little ghost shape, all along the bottom of this wing. We're going to do that on both sides. So concentrated closer to the body, and then you can spread them out a little more, but you still want them pretty concentrated all around the shape. Make sure to try to do it similar to that side. So both sides match. And then we're going to do some dots around the J of our curves. So you don't have to start all the way at the top where the 2 wings touch, but just in these spaces. They're more concentrated near our thick black line, and they may get more spread out as we come away from that line. And a few right here. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Concentrated next to our dark line, our thick black line, and more spread out as you move away from that. A few underneath. So once you finish this, your butterfly should be done. Make sure you sign your work in one of the bottom corners. Great job, guys.